What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video. And in this one, we're going to be doing a yearly video where we look back at the previous draft. In this case, it's going to be the 2021 draft class, and I'm going to regrade it a year later. Now, of course, with that being said, I do have videos where I do grade the Patriots draft following the conclusion of that draft. So if you want to see my original grades and my original thoughts on this draft class, that video will be linked in the description below. But today we're going to look back at those grades and kind of regrade them based on how they've transpired since being drafted by New England. Before we get started, make sure you guys leave a big thumbs up on this video. It really helps me out, along with commenting in the comment section below and subscribing to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news if you have not subscribed yet. But starting off here in the first round, the Patriots selected quarterback Mac Jones. Now, at the time, I gave this pick an A+, and I do not have any plans on changing that A+. So with that being said, I'm going to give Mac Jones another A+. Now, was his first year as a rookie perfect? No, but Mac Jones was very close to winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he was the best graded quarterback and the best performing quarterback in the entire 2021 draft class. That's over Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. And the Patriots got a guy who fits this offensive scheme like a glove. I really don't believe that there is any other quarterback other than Tom Brady that is going to be as good for this Patriots system. Mac Jones also showed more athletic ability with his legs than I think any of us actually expected, especially year one from him. But his mental processing was shown even in the offseason programs, even in training camp, even in preseason, and he just showcased that even more as the regular season and postseason came on. And he also showed how deadly accurate he can be with the football. He showed it in the Pro Bowl, he showed it in the regular season, he showed it in the playoffs, he showed it in preseason training camp. Now, Mac Jones definitely has development to continue. He still has a good amount of ways to go. But from what we're already getting from a year one rookie, I think it's unbelievable. It's excellent. Like I said, he was the best quarterback of the 2021 draft class. And that's not my opinion. That's an actual fact. He also had a higher completion percentage in his rookie season, which is better than any other rookie quarterback in NFL history, just behind Dak Prescott in 2016. Again, does he have some ways to go? Yes, for sure. But from what we are already getting from Mac Jones, from what Mac Jones has already proved to bring to this offense, there is absolutely no other quarterback that I believe the Patriots should have gone with, because Mac Jones in this system is 1,000% the best option. Now, speaking of Alabama selections, in the second round, New England traded up to select Alabama's defensive tackle, Christian Barmore. Now, at the time, I gave this an A-. Christian Barmore was one of the best defensive linemen in this entire draft, but was the best defensive tackle in the draft and was an absolute steal for New England to trade up and acquire. He was known for being a great all-around defensive tackle, one that was good at getting to the quarterback and also at stopping the run. My questions for him were, how is he going to do it at an NFL level? And is he really going to contribute in the New England Patriots system as a rookie year one? And he did just that. Christian Barmore is a staple point in this New England Patriots defense, and he is arguably the most important defensive lineman on the entirety of this team. When Christian Barmore goes out of the lineup, when Christian Barmore is dealing with an injury, you clearly see a day and night difference, because the Patriots do not have a player that has the caliber to Christian Barmore. Christian Barmore is New England's only interior defensive lineman that can generate really any true pressure. And actually, for the majority of the 2021 regular season, Christian Barmore was the most double and triple teamed defensive tackle in the entire league. For Christian Barmore, a rookie again, to get double and triple teamed already in his rookie season is absolutely mind-blowing. And the fact that he was not just a rotational piece, wasn't slow into getting into the starting lineup, and was an immediate starter for the Patriots goes to show the type of player that he is. Christian Barmore finished with a total of 51 total pressures this season, and that was 13 more than the player who came in second place, which played for Dallas. In his rookie season, he finished with the second most snaps when it comes to defensive tackles for New England. He finished just behind Devon Godchow, and again, for a rookie to eclipse that in year one and do it straight off the bat, I mean, the ceiling is nothing but high for Christian Barmore. So, of course, with that being said, I am going to give this from an A- originally to an A. I would give it an A+, and I was very hesitant to do so, just for the factor of I still have some questions about his run stopping. Now, his run stopping isn't bad by any means. He's a well above upgrade from Adam Butler when it comes to stopping the run, but he is not elite at it. There is some maneuvering, there is some wrinkles that still have to be ironed out within that section of his game that really held back from getting that A+, but he was very close to getting that. Now, next up here is Ronnie Perkins. This one is definitely difficult because I can't truly and honestly grade him due to the fact that he was basically redshirted this entire year. We didn't see much of him. He wasn't placed on the injured reserve for the season. He was active, just had a redshirt year, didn't really get any actual playing time, but we did see him a little bit throughout training camp. We saw him a little bit throughout preseason also. So with that being said, we have a little bit of an idea, but you gotta take this one with a grain of salt because, again, we have not actually seen him. So with that being said, I originally gave Ronnie Perkins a B+. He was one of the best edge defenders coming out of this draft, and where the Patriots got him in the third round was actually considered one of the steals of the draft, had over a 90+ grade in both rushing the passer and at stopping the run. He was the only edge rusher to do so in college football last year. So I definitely think that there are still high hopes for Ronnie Perkins, especially with some of the question marks the Patriots have at defensive end headed into 2022. But again, he was still healthy. He was healthy throughout the summer in training camp, in preseason, and we still really didn't see anything from Ronnie Perkins. So I'm going to go from a B+ on this, and I'm going to grade this down to a B. I was close to giving it a B-, but I didn't want to take a huge jump from my original grade, again, just for the fact that we haven't seen Ronnie Perkins to the full extent. We haven't actually seen him play in the regular season and get an actual go. So when we actually see that, we'll be better telling on what he should be graded. But for now, I'm going to bring it a little bit down and give him a B based off of what we saw this offseason. Now, next up here, the Patriots selected Cameron McGriff, a linebacker, in the 5th round. Now, this one was considered another steal for the Patriots in the 5th round. He was expected to go a lot higher than the 5th round. I was hearing 2nd to 3rd round, but due to the injury he had an ACL injury in November that kept him out, brought that draft status and that market for him down tremendously, which is why the Patriots got him in the 5th round. Now, originally, I gave this a B+. I thought that he could be the type of guy that takes over for Hightower, great at stopping the run, really good sideline-to-sideline speed, something that Hightower doesn't have, but a very raw player, a very, very raw player. Showed a lot of ability in Michigan, but didn't get a lot of playing time in Michigan because that injury at the end of his final season. I do think that Cameron McGriff could be a really good developmental piece for this team. There are still a good amount of unknowns, but for what the potential he brings along with where the Patriots got him is why I gave it a B+. I can't grade this one at all. I can't make absolutely any changes because we did not see one single thing from Cameron McGriff as the Patriots were really taking it easy with him due to that ACL or Achilles tear, I forget which one it was, that he suffered in November prior to the 2021 NFL Draft. So if you guys want to know more of my thoughts on Cameron McGriff, definitely check out his draft profile that I made for him. back originally when the Patriots drafted him, and subscribe to the channel, because once we actually see progression from Cameron McGriff, I do plan on making a video about him. And while I'm looking at this, I actually realized that I accidentally skipped our boy Rhamondre Stevenson, so we're going to go back a little bit. In the 4th round here, surprisingly, the Patriots took a running back, much higher than I think any of us really expected. At the time, the Patriots had Sony Michel, they had Damien Harris, so the selection brought up a lot of questions, but looking back on it, was much needed and was an absolute stellar selection by Bill Belichick in that front office. Now, at the time, I gave the Rhamondre Stevenson an A grade, which looking back, I'm kind of surprised I gave it as high of a grade, but I'm not going to change this one. I'm going to keep an A for Rhamondre Stevenson. I'll get into why I'm not going to give him an A+. But wow, for a guy that we thought was going to have a red-shirted year, he played an absolute pivotal role in the Patriots offense this year. The 1-2 punch between him and Damien Harris was really the lead and known factor to this Patriots offensive scheme. And it was showcased on several different occasions. The Patriots need both of these running backs. If the Patriots did not have Damien Harris and Rhamondre Stevenson, that 1-2 punch that defines this offense, the offense did not perform as highly as it could. Now, PFF actually named Rhamondre Stevenson the best value pick of the entire Patriots draft. He ended up finishing the year with the best grade amongst rookie running backs and showed off his ability at just absolutely dominating breaking tackles. Rhamondre Stevenson also ranked 7th in the entire National Football League in elusive rating. 606 of his rushing yards came after contact. He also finished this season with a total of 5 touchdowns and was averaging 4.6 yards per reception, to also go along with 18 targets, 14 receptions, 123 yards, averaging 8.8 yards per reception. I thought that Rhamondre Stevenson early on really worried me with ball security, so that's definitely one of the things that held him back from getting an A+. Another thing that I really want to see Rhamondre Stevenson get better at is blitz pickup. That is going to be very, very pivotal for Rhamondre Stevenson. One of the big things that is currently holding him back currently is going to be his ability at blitz pickup. He was just awful at it at times in 2021, and if he wants to get on the field more, it's going to be a big part for him. Now, I was actually very impressed with his ability as a pass-catching running back. We saw on several occasions him make several very nice catches from Mac Jones, and that's an aspect of his game that I would actually like to see more of. But Stevenson has absolutely taken over that LeGarrette Blount, that baby LeGarrette Blount role, and he is going to be absolutely pivotal for the Patriots in that 1-2 punch next to Damien Harris going forward, and very excited to see what he can do in his sophomore year. Now, next up on this list in the 6th round, the Patriots selected safety Joshua Bledsoe. Now, I liked the idea of going defensive back, but after I looked a little bit more into Joshua Bledsoe, was not a big fan of him. Now, maybe the Patriots decided to play him a little bit more at linebacker, hybrid linebacker. He is a little bit bigger for his safety, so that could be something that the Patriots decide to do, especially knowing that the team doesn't really draft coverage linebackers. They more so bring these safeties down to play hybrid linebacker and play in the box. But a big issue with Joshua Bledsoe's game in college was in coverage. And if you're going to tell me that he's going to play corner, or he's going to play strong safety or free safety or even a rover, and he can't cover, I have a lot of concerns. Now, originally, I gave this pick a B-, and this is another one we're going to have to just kind of see a little bit more how it develops. He didn't deal with any type of injury after the Patriots drafted him. He ended up dealing with one in training camp, but I'm going to give this selection now a C. Maybe that's a little bit harsh for a guy we still have to see a little bit more out of, but he was here the entirety of the offseason. He was there in training camp. He was there in preseason. Didn't really get to see much of him, and when we did get to see much of him, he definitely did not seize the opportunity. He did not stand out in any type of way, but did end up finally dealing with an injury. I believe he was dealing with some type of shoulder injury that ended up putting him in a sling. Absolute terrible time to deal with an injury. But at the time, I wasn't a fan of this pick. I'm still not a fan of this pick now. I mean, drafting a coverage guy who has had issues in coverage in college, and that's, one of his cons in his draft profile. I just honestly have an issue seeing a future for this pick. Now, next up here, the Patriots drafted offensive tackle William Sherman. Where they got William Sherman, I thought was an excellent pick, especially with how early and how frequently offensive linemen, especially offensive tackles, were flying off the board in this draft class. And I'm not going to lie, I expected things to be better with William Sherman. I expected him to perform better. So I gave this one a B+, or not a B+, but just a straight up B grade for the Patriots. And I'm going to give this one an F now. I don't really think that William Sherman has much of a future in New England. Now, if I am correct, they did sign him to a futures contract, so we likely will see him back this offseason, but I think he's just going to be one of those guys that is an offseason body. Sticks around in camp, is an extra offensive lineman to help throughout training camp, maybe even preseason. But last year, we saw William Sherman struggle a good amount when it came to preseason, when it came to training camp, and when the time came, the Patriots were not hesitant to cut him. And I don't even think he ended up on the practice squad either. Again, just one of those picks. It's a hard time seeing this one go somewhere. Now, next up, the Patriots selected in the 7th round, final pick, wide receiver Trey Nixon. Now, I thought that this one actually had some potential to go somewhere. Was it going to go somewhere year one for the regular season? I didn't think so, but I was expecting to see more of a flash when it came to Trey Nixon. We really didn't see him do anything during training camp. We didn't see him do really anything during the preseason, and when the Patriots were giving him opportunities as a kick returner, a punt returner, especially for a team that didn't have a kick returner, and you're a wide receiver who specializes in speed, I was expecting to just see better things from him, at least make the team as a return specialist. Take that Julian Edelman, Braxton Berrios role where you show out on special teams and then start to produce and showcase yourself as a wide receiver as the years progress. I got to give him a C+ because I just don't know if he's going to have a future here in New England, and I could be wrong. Maybe he takes that step in year 2, but it didn't look like he really was building a rapport with Mac Jones. He was always on a separate field when it came to training camp. When we did get to see him in limited action, he had issues with dropping passes. And honestly, I just did not see that speed from him that was so highly talked about. I'll be excited to see if he can do anything this offseason, but for now, we still have some stuff to see, but I just have to give this one a C+. But that is going to be it for today's video where I regrade the Patriots 2021 draft class a year later. What are your guys' thoughts on this draft class, though? What would you guys give this draft class a grade of? Let me know in the comment section below. Again, remember to leave a big like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. But like always, I appreciate you guys for watching, and go Pats.